Well, David Hogg, who is the vice president of the DNC, came forward and said that he wanted to basically change the Democratic Party. He said some of these incumbents, they got to go. I think a lot of people outside of that DC elite bubble can agree with that some of those people got to go, right? But the Democratic Party, the leadership, and the DNC don't agree with that. And they do not like what David has been trying to do. Now, what does this have to do in connection with Jasmine Crockett's reveal about what the Democratic Party is planning for 2028? So let's start with disappearance of David Hogg and Donna Brazile, of all people. We'll get to her in just a second, on Bill Maher's show. Now, I want you to hear what he said about how things need to change in the Democratic Party. And Donna Brazile, Miss Cheater herself, of all people, chimes in. Listen to this.
There's one thing I wanted to talk about too, which is a little bit of what you just talked about, which is there have been a few members that have come out that have said, well, you know, if I retire, my life is effectively over. And what I would say is get over yourself. This isn't about you. This is about our country, and it's about your constituents. Nobody is I don't care if you've been there for decades or just one term. That seat is not yours. It is your constituents. That is who you're there to serve. And if they choose to serve somebody else, so be it. That's all we're trying to do with Leaders We Deserve, is give people the option to vote for somebody that isn't necessarily the same person.
And Bill, let me just
pause back here and go back to David, okay? Because David came in, he came in kind of hot. David came in kind of hot. And David said, I don't care. Get over yourself. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But David did what I think squad members and Bernie Sanders weren't willing to do. They weren't willing to go that far. They weren't willing to go that far and say, get over yourself, right? So that's important because now the DNC is trying to remove David Hogg as vice chair. So you have two options. David had two options coming into this. One option was to get in line and keep his position. Don't rock that boat. The other option was to try to change or reform the Democratic Party and lose that position. And David chose the latter. Now, he probably didn't realize that they would try to get rid of him, but we did. We did. I've been through this before. We went through this. I went through this with Bernie 2016, Bernie 2020. We have actively seen the DNC cheat to push out the people that they don't want, whether they got the votes or not. We watched them take votes from Bernie Sanders in 2016 and give them to Hillary Clinton. We watched them collude in 2020 and get all the other candidates to drop out at a certain time. Barack Obama was part of this as well. Everyone's beloved Barack Obama. He was a part of this as well, to get people to drop out to help Joe Biden win. Like, the Democratic Party is not democratic. They're undemocratic. And poor David's very young, energetic, wanting to make a change, walked right into an alligator pit with no shoes. And they are basically eating him up. What makes it crazier is you have Donna Brazile, Miss Cheater-in-Chief herself, who was a part of keeping the people there that the establishment wanted instead of what the voters wanted. Listen to what she says. Like, this just baffled me that her, of all people, this woman shouldn't be doing any interviews, number one. But listen.
And Bill, let me applaud one thing. I'm glad that David is at the table. You know, I've been at the table a long time, and I love being at the table because it took me a hell of a long time to get in and to get a seat. And once I got a seat and got my folding chair, I was ready. I was set. Mm-hmm. And there comes a day when you can't stir every pot, and you're going to have to get the out. And I'm glad that David is throwing a rock inside the party. All I would like to advise David is my 25-year-old March on Washington, King holiday, free Nelson Mandela self. Call me what the hell you please, but I know what I did when I was his age. I wanted to have a role in American politics. I want to care about my country. I want to love my country, and I want to give back what my country gave to me. And if David takes that spirit on the DNC, I'll vote for his ass again.
So this woman, Donna Brazile, no one cares about the march that you did on Washington. No one cares. None of that matters. None of that matters when you sat there and you cheated to help Hillary Clinton, who ended up losing anyway. So all those things that you did, people kill me with this. They want to come forward with what they did a long time ago. Marched on Washington, my young activist self. None of that matters because what we remember you for is being a cheater. That's what we remember. When the time came for you to choose what the people wanted and what the establishment wanted, you weren't trying to be activists in that. You went with what the establishment wanted. You went against the will of the voters. You went against the will of the people. So that march you did on Washington, I don't really give a fuck about, okay? I don't care about that now. None of that matters. People have to understand that Donna Brazile in particular, and I'll show you because, you know, we going to go there. This is what she did for Hillary Clinton. CNN parts ways with Donna Brazile, a Hillary Clinton supporter. See, people remember this. People forget because I don't. CNN has severed ties with Democratic strategist Donna Brazile after hacked emails from WikiLeaks showed that she shared questions for CNN-sponsored candidate events in advance with friends on Hillary Clinton's campaign. So, Miss Donna, Miss March on Washington, okay? When push came to shove, you went against the will of the people. And you leaked questions to Hillary Clinton's team to help her in advance. Okay? You are a cheater. You were a cheater. And she was on the DNC. So what you see happening right now, what they're doing to David Hogg, this isn't new. The DNC been corrupt. We're going to go through it, honey. We're going to go through all of it so you can see the corruption in real time. And she has the nerve to be on Bill Maher's show telling David, you know what? I appreciate your energy and da-da-da-da. Girl, bye. Bye. Now, to show you some of this corruption, they're already doing it. What we tell you. DNC panel recommends redo of vote that elevated David Hogg to vice chair after procedural concerns. So now they're going to say, oh my God, we're going to have to do a redo vote because maybe you didn't follow proper procedure. That's their way of getting around it, right? One fair and square. Let's see how we can change that. And that's supposed to be Democratic. Marianne Williamson, you have some things to answer for because you were on Bad Faith Podcast trying to convince everybody that the guy that you voted for, Mr. Ken, was going to do the right thing by the people. And now this Mr. Ken is trying to overturn this. They don't want change. The party cannot be changed. So listen to this. DNC subcommittee on Monday recommended that the organization invalidate one of its February vice chair votes over claims that it unfairly disadvantaged female candidates. Like I'm not even making this up, folks. I'm not making this up. So when everything fails, let's go with it was unfair to women. That's how we'll get him out of there. The Democratic Party didn't learn anything from the loss in 2024. They're really trying to do this. I'm not exaggerating. Goes on to say the move which won't be official unless the entire DNC votes to approve it, could open up new races for positions held by David Hogg, Florida activist, and Malcolm Kenyatta, a Pennsylvania state legislature. Is it this? The challenge by Oklahoma Democratic Committee woman Kaylin Free, who unsuccessfully ran against Hogg and Kenyatta in February race for vice chair, is not related to the ongoing tension between Hogg and the National Party over his push to support primary challenges against incumbent Democrats. Yeah, right. Instead, it was based off of Free's claim that the handling of the vice chair vote gave the two men an unfair advantage amid the National Party's requirements that its executive committee achieve gender balance. You cannot make this up. So now they're going to try to say that he can't have that seat or shouldn't have that seat because there's no gender balance. Because you have Ken, who's the DNC chair, and so the vice chair should be a woman. People voted for David. So there's no true democracy in this country. The Democratic Party is undemocratic. And this is why I continue to say, and I warn people about this, and I'm tired of saying I told you so, damn it. But I warn people about this. There is no reforming the Democratic Party. I used to believe it was possible. I believed it in Bernie 2016. Hell, I even believed it in Bernie 2020. But after all that, I realize money talks, billionaires talk, Wall Street talks, the MIC talks. All of those things matter more than what the voter actually wants when it comes to the Democratic Party and when it comes to the DNC, because the DNC is corporate. So they want David out. Now, this is important when we get to Jasmine Crockett, because Jasmine Crockett let the cat out the bag. Jasmine Crockett is letting everybody know what the Democrat leadership has already planned for 2028. And I want you to think about what she says here. I want you to think about what AOC and Bernie are doing right now, which I told you is just an effort to sheep herd you back into the Democratic Party. They're not trying to start a third party, which Bernie has already said on record. They're not trying to move you outside of the two-party system. It's to get the voters back that did not turn out in 2024. 6 million people that voted for Biden in 2020 didn't show up to vote for Kamala in 2024. So they send out people like Bernie and AOC to get the progressives and, the young people back in line, to get them to come back into the fold, those people that helped Biden. Because they lost the youth vote. They also lost the African-American vote, the black vote. When you look at it, folks, Kamala received less black votes than Hillary, Biden, and of course, Obama, right? So after all that, listen to what Jasmine Crockett says the plan is.
It is this fear that the people within the party, within the primary system, will have about voting for a woman, because every time we voted for a woman, we've lost so far. And I think that that's a natural fear because we just want to win. So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
Those are the callers that we're hearing. We're hearing people.
No, for real.
A white man's got to do it. We're getting those callers.
For real. And to be clear, when we talk about them, I can tell you that there is one specific candidate. I had a donor on the phones with me telling me that all the donors are lining up behind that candidate. So I can tell, and I can tell you it's not a black person nor woman. Okay. So like it is, they have.
Let's go back. Everybody hear this? Listen to this.
The candidate. I had a donor on the phones with me telling me that all the donors are lining up behind that candidate. So I can tell, and I can tell you it's not a black person nor woman. Okay.
It's not a black person and it's not a woman. That means if you wanted to know if AOC was going to be that nominee, which I told you I don't think the Democratic Party would let her be the nominee, that is a no. because she said it's not a woman. And she also said it's not a black person. So that pushes out Wes Moore. That pushes out Cory Booker, all these people that have been named. Guys, what Jasmine Crockett is telling you is that the donors have already told the Democratic Party who they want the nominee to be for 2028. The donors have already chosen the person. So what you see AOC and Bernie doing right now, that's just to get you energized and revved up for 2028 to usher you right back into the Democratic Party to vote for this said person who is going to be the nominee that Jasmine is warning everybody about. So think about that when you think about the DNC wanting to remove David Hogg. They don't want change. They're not going to change. The Democratic Party cannot be reformed. You are wasting your time and your money donating money to AOC and Bernie and all of them. I went through all this. I did all this. I did it. And I'm telling you, you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. They've already selected the nominee. It is 2025. Just like Hillary was selected years prior to 2016. You think we picked the nominee? The donors picked the nominee. If we were picking the nominee, Bernie Sanders would have been the nominee in 2026, not Hillary Clinton. Let me let her finish.
So like it is, they have, quote unquote, they have chosen. And when I say they, it's the same donors that most likely had their opinions about Joe Biden and move. So like that would be the they that I would talk about. Here's what I want people to understand is I do absolutely agree with Malcolm when he talks about not ceding your power. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, don't give up your power. People fail to recognize how unique Trump is. They continue to say, well, we lost. Well, they both lost to Trump. Trump, who is a misogynist. Trump, who is going to ramp up the misogynist in the first place, because that's what he does. He is disrespectful. Like right now, he still doesn't know how to deal with me, because if you punch me, I'm punching back. OK, so like, here's the deal. Now, I know he think he running again. But that ain't happening. I don't care what all is going on in this country. And I don't care how many things we won't say we are absolutely going to do. I am telling y'all with all confidence, he is not running for a third term. That is not a thing. Mm-hmm. It is.
So this video has been making the rounds on social media because people are calling this out and people are saying like, oh my God, they've already chosen that person. I also noticed there was some people are saying Gavin Newsom. I noticed there was a town hall in Iowa today with Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg couldn't get the black vote when he ran in 2020. Black people not really feeling Pete like that. This is something the Democratic Party doesn't want to say. And watch this. If Pete Buttigieg becomes the nominee, and he loses, they're going to say, oh my God, people didn't vote for him because he's LGBTQ. Watch. Just like people didn't vote for Kamala because she's a woman of color, and da 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 da. And there's always going to be some of that. But that's not everybody. I mean, you mean to tell me they didn't realize Kamala wasn't doomed from the get-go? She couldn't get a delegate when she ran in 2020. And now they're trying to make Pete a thing. They're trying to make Booty a thing. This guy, once he got to South Carolina, first of all, he didn't win Iowa. He jumped the gun and said that he did. When you look at the numbers, Bernie Sanders actually won Iowa in the Democrat primary in 2020. Then he gets to South Carolina and he's all the way at the bottom because black people did not want him. Pete Buttigieg, and I don't give a damn how many black kids you adopt. Pete Buttigieg does not fare well in the black community. And some of that comes from his interactions with black people in South Bend, Indiana, when he was mayor. Talk to the black community in South Bend, Indiana, about how he ignored a black kid who was found hanged from a tree. Talk to him about that. You can still find those videos online, by the way, of the Black community approaching him at the town hall and him just sitting there not wanting to say anything. Black people not feeling him like that. But they've already decided. And I'll show you just how corrupt this all is. People are wasting their time. They're wasting their freaking time. Do you know who this guy is? Are you familiar with Bruce Spiva? You know why Bruce Spiva is important? Bruce Spiva, this dude, he is the one that represented the DNC during the DNC fraud lawsuit. Now, apparently, now he is a part of the CLC, Advancing Democracy Through Law, right? Bruce Spiva is an attorney and a community leader who spent over 30-year career fighting for civil rights and civil liberties, voting rights, consumer protection, and antitrust enforcement. This is very hilarious, voting rights. Because you see, I interviewed the lawyers that represented the Bernie side for the DNC fraud lawsuit, and they said they would never go through this again. They weren't even asking, they were asking for the people to get their money back. This is after Bernie 2016. Yes, there was a DNC fraud lawsuit. Nico House was a part of this as well. And the argument was that the DNC cheated Bernie Sanders, which they did. But let me tell you what Bruce Spiva argued in court and what the judge said. Shout out to Kesheev. In 2016 primary, the DNC cheated Bernie Sanders. Many Sanders supporters sued the DNC, which argued the case should be thrown out because the party is a private entity and won. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. The Democratic Party is a private entity. It is a corporation. Now, wait till you hear what the judge actually declared. This is wild. Peep this, fam. DNC attorney Bruce Spiva. Again, the DNC won this. There is no such thing as a Democrat. The DNC just encourages people to vote for the Democratic Party. Mark 1. Mark 2. No one has any right to an expectation of a fair election. Hold up. No one has any right to an expectation of a fair election. Everybody get that? Because it's a private entity. They don't owe you a fair election. Wait till you hear more. It gets crazier. If the DNC wishes to select a candidate in the primaries instead of a free election process, that is their right. That's exactly what they did. You see, they're doing it right now. 3, donating money to Bernie Sanders doesn't mean you thought that money was going to assist him to win the primary. You have no right to think that the DNC was obligated to follow their own charter and internal policies about elections. So they even ruled that the DNC can go against their own charter. That's how deep this goes. It goes on to say here, 4, discussion of and any disputes with the DNC do not belong in a transparent process in a court of law. That goes back to they can pick candidates in a smoke-filled room. The DNC is a private association, which should never be asked to engage in the discovery process or have to reveal any of its internal workings or strategies should they decide to select a candidate rather than allow a fair election of a candidate. The judge ruled in favor of the DNC. So this is why I say you're wasting your money. This is why I say donate your money to mutual aid organizations. Hell, donate your money to starting your own mutual aid organizations. I do a mutual aid workshop. I started one last month. I'll be doing the next one again in June. I'll announce it on the show and I'll send it through my newsletter. You can join that workshop. I'll show you how to start mutual aid where you live. Donate your money to your community. Donate your money to organizing your people in your community and getting things done on a local level. You are not going to change the Democratic Party. What I am telling you here, everybody else that is a part of that Bernie sphere in independent media knows this. This isn't new. And they're choosing to ignore it and still sit up there and tell you to try to fight within the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, they continue to get richer. And you're giving your money to these candidates that they know damn well will not be allowed to be the nominee. It is a waste of your money. It is a waste of your time. People will say that third parties are a waste of time too. You have your right to your opinion about that. I vote third party. But when people ask me what they should donate their money to, I say you should donate your money to mutual aid. Because the whole damn political system is corrupt. Now, in the words of Third Eye Blind, I want something else. I want multiple parties. I want a 4 and 5th and 6 parties like the UK has. I want multiple parties to be on the ballot in every state. I want that, plus more mutual aid organizations. I want people to participate more in local politics. I want people to pay attention to who their city councilors are because these are the people that control the budget. Ding, ding, ding. I want people to pay attention to those things. Now, a lot of people don't talk about it because it's not sexy. I want people to organize and get on the ground and run these ballot measures in your state. There are many of you that watch me that live in California. California is a ballot initiative state. Some of these progressive policies that people have been trying to get passed on the national level that have not been passed, $15 minimum wage, which is way out the water by now, should be so much higher, have passed in the states. That's really where the fight is going to be. And if you pay attention to what the Supreme Court has been doing, noticing a lot of things are being kicked back to the states. So let's organize and run these BIs. Build up more mutual aid networks. If you want to run for something, I say run for local. Run local. Run for city council. They control the budget. Do that type of thing. Get involved with your city council. Go to those city council meetings. They're free to the public so that you know where your money is going and what is up. But on the national level, the best chance that we have right now of building up a third party is the Green Party because they have the most ballot access. I know everybody don't agree with the Green Party policies, but if you're looking at who has the best chance right now, that would be for the left perspective, that would be the Green Party. The Green Party has the Bernie Sanders platform and then some. But it is not going to be done through the Democratic Party. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.